Milan guys, today I will be doing this government paper here. It's a DBE November 2022. It's paper two. I will start with it's question two, which deals with VAT and inventory inventory value valuation. And for VAT, we are given the information relating to non-clear traders. The business is registered for VAT. The standard VAT rate is 15%. In case you don't know, it was increased from 14% about 2 years back. Non-clear also sells zero-rated goods. There's one question I loved including in grade 10, and that was the difference between zero-rated goods and VAT-exempt goods. And a lot of students used to struggle explaining the two. Please note, when an item is zero-rated, it does attract VAT. Okay, so it'll have VAT input and VAT output. But the percentage on that item, the VAT percentage on that item that is zero rated will be 0. So it does attract VAT, but at a 0%. Now, when it's exempt, it means there's no VAT output, there's no VAT input on that item. So there's no VAT at all. Now, with VAT exempt supplies, they will never be taxable. Or else zero-rated items, they can be taxable in the future. And this is normally determined by the Minister of Finance, who will decide to increase VAT from 0% to something else. Like it was increased from 14% to 15%. And we can talk about the disadvantages and advantages of introducing VAT. And I've always been saying throughout the years that it's said that we're actually selling sanitary pads, and it's not even your choice to go on your period, but we've got free government condoms, which to me doesn't make sense. Why is it that we are selling sanitary pads, which is something that a lot of females don't have a choice but to go through, but yet we are providing condoms for free? And someone might say, yeah, how about providing both for free? And obviously we'll talk about money, not having money for the fees because we're already struggling, and then there's corruption on the side. And obviously we all know education can be free, it's just that corruption is what prevents South Africa from having free education. And I know they have people that will say, yeah, but why provide free education? South Africans want everything for free, but it's the same people that complain about poor people being hooligans, wanting entitled to everything, not wanting to be educated. But when you have nothing, how do you get education? That's another thing. Now, to finance education, that's why we need to introduce VAT, which goes to our fiscal, is collected by SARS. We all know that, and that money will go to the Minister of Finance, who allocates the budget, and then those budgets must go to different departments, which is, I think, the highest departments that get the highest portion of our fiscal budget is Department of Education and Health. I forgot the other one. It has to be the one that issues grants. I forgot social development and stuff. Okay. That money comes from the taxes. And the thing is, the people that get the money are the ones that decide to do it for themselves, which is why we are where we are. And hospitals are in bad conditions, but it gets the highest budget. Schools are in bad conditions. I mean, in KZN, I think there was a feeding scheme case. So I'm just telling you as to why it's so important to have that, and why we cannot have condoms and sanitary pads being zero rated or exempt. So one of them has to be taxed. And according to me, I think, which it'll be fair to sell condoms and provide sanitary pads for free. You know, there are a lot of girls in South Africa that don't go to school because they don't have sanitary pads. Okay, you don't have a choice, honestly. I feel like as well in malls, you look at the bathrooms in malls, you look at the bathrooms at schools. I feel like they should be what you call that thing that puts condoms there. You just press and then you get free sanitary pads for the day. That's what we should be having instead of pressing that thing and having a free condom. Because it's a choice to be having coitus, but it's not a choice to go on your periods. And I don't know if it changed, but there was VAT on sanitary pads. I'm hoping it has changed now. It's zero rated or at least exempt. Okay, it should be exempt. But fairly speaking, I don't think it should even be taxable. I feel like it should be provided for free. Okay. And then if you want to buy your own, then it's your own choice. And it must be high quality because somehow, we have tenders, people providing sanitary pads, but the of low quality. But when you look at the price, they were given the same amount that will have bought a lot of good quality sanitary pads. I don't know what's going on. People don't have hearts anymore. People are just taking care of themselves, don't care about everybody else, except for teachers. Obviously, that's why we're here. Okay. Now we are required, well, not all teachers. Let me just modify that. We are required to calculate VAT amount that must be paid to SARS for the period ended 31st of May 2022. Okay, so we need to calculate the amount to be paid to SARS. And I need to qualify that because sometimes it can be an amount that we are allowed to claim from SARS. Please know that we have two types of VAT, okay? We have VAT output, which is normally on income. That is the one that must be paid over to SARS. It's normally on income. So I will also qualify that. Please check my video on VAT. I do have grade 10. I'll try to actually put the links to those videos under the comments section. Please check out the comments section for that, right? Now the information relates to it's Harry, the clerk calculated VAT amount due to SARS as 55,705. So that is VAT amount due to SARS, that is VAT output. We collected it on behalf of SARS, we need to pay it over to SARS, okay? That's what being a registered VAT vendor is, okay? When I say VAT vendor, a lot of kids don't know what it is. It's when you're registered to collect VAT on behalf of SARS, you collect it from your customers, and then you take the VAT portion, you pay it to SARS. And then when you buy goods, you pay VAT on those goods. Obviously, whoever you're buying goods from will take that VAT paid over to SARS, and you're allowed to claim it back from SARS, resulting in VAT input. VAT output goes out to SARS. VAT input comes into the business. Okay, so we are allowed to claim it back from SARS. Okay, so that is an asset. VAT output is a liability as it is payable to SARS. Okay, and when we do the cash flow statement, you're gonna have SARS in brackets. You'll have VAT. It'll be put in trade and other payables, which means that we had VAT output that must be paid over to SARS. And then we're going to have SARS income tax. Now we will be required to calculate VAT, not VAT, we will be required to calculate income tax payable to SARS or that we can claim from SARS. And there's a difference between the two, guys, okay? There is VAT, SARS, VAT. That one we don't do anything in the cash flow statement. We put it there in trade and other payables. But the one that must be disclosed separately is SARS income tax. For that one, we need to take it out of trade and other payables and do the calculation separately because materiality requires us to disclose that on the face of your cash flow statement, separate from other liabilities or payables. Okay, I need to clarify that because a lot of students now will be confused when they go to the cash flow statement. Do I take SARS, VAT, and SARS income tax, add them up? No. You only take out SARS income tax. That's the only one that must be disclosed separately. SARS, VAT, you leave it there in trade and other payables. You don't exclude it. Okay. If you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know, please check out my playlist and it's written cash flow statement and just look for income tax paid, which I normally do right at the beginning. Okay, check that out. Okay. Now let's get straight to business. When I started with this question, sometimes I realized that the mistakes that students do, I also made that mistake. And please do not make this mistake in the exam. Make sure you read everything carefully. Make sure you read everything carefully. As a teacher, I thought I know my stuff, I know what to do, but I did not read the question carefully. The first point here, it says that VAT on goods returned to suppliers. I only read goods returned to suppliers, and I took that 5,070 multiplied by 15 divided by 100, and I failed to read that. Actually, that is the VAT amount that was given, so we don't need to calculate VAT here. So read carefully. Don't be too smart. Okay, read carefully. This is the VAT. We are given the VAT amount here, so there is no need to calculate VAT. Okay. So VAT on goods returned to suppliers is 5,017. Question is, what type of VAT are we going to have on goods returned to suppliers? Know that when we buy, the supplier will take VAT and pay it over to SARS. Okay, so this was already paid over to SARS when we bought, right? And then we are allowed to claim it from SARS. But here's the thing, we are returning it back to the supplier. And that is a problem. When we return it back to the supplier, it means it will reduce what we have to claim from SARS. Okay, because the supplier will claim back the VAT output on those goods, meaning that we as well, we're gonna have to claim less than what we're supposed to claim from SARS. Okay, and I will actually explain that as we go through the workings. And then obviously that one, we know that it will result in a reduction of VAT input, or you can say increase of your VAT output. VAT on expenses paid, I did say that will be VAT input. It results in increases in VAT input. It will reduce our VAT output. VAT on goods taken by non-clear for personal use. That is drawings. VAT on drawings. Drawings are treated similar to expenses, so it will result in an increase in VAT output. And then we've got discount allowed as an expense. It will result in an increase in VAT output. Actually, it will result in an increase in VAT input, all right, reducing your VAT output. But we are given the discount amount here. So that's where you need to calculate your VAT. You're going to multiply this by 15 divided by 150. Multiply by what you want, divide by what you are given. Please check out my videos on the calculation of VAT. I think I did it in grade 10, where I showed you a table. If you're given VAT inclusive amount, how do you calculate VAT on that? Remember, when we do VAT input and VAT output, you only focus on your VAT amount. You don't focus on your amount including VAT, amount excluding VAT. No, you only focus on your VAT amount. And then you decide on whether this VAT amount, will it result in VAT input, or will it result in a VAT output? Okay, and we'll talk about that then when I do calculations later on. Okay, let me just remove my bar here. And then they talk about, just want to check if everything is correct here. Okay. And then they talk about VAT on sales was incorrectly recorded. Remember, VAT on sales is VAT output, but it was incorrectly recorded. Now, because it was incorrectly recorded, I'm guessing that we have to reduce our VAT output. Let me just read better. It says that certain goods with a selling price of 31,200, that selling price is VAT exclusive. So we're going to have to multiply by 15, divide by 100. And the VAT amount we get there, we will need to subtract it from our VAT output because those were zero rated items. They were incorrectly included in VAT input. They were incorrectly included in VAT output. We need to reduce VAT output by VAT on those goods. All right, let's just go through the solutions just to explain everything that we spoke about here. Okay, let me go straight to it. Now, I'm going to start with my balance. When I looked at the workings, the working box was a little bit tricky because it's not guiding students as to how to show their workings, which might actually cause a problem when it comes to marking. But I made it this way, okay, because I love breaking things down. I started with my balance due to SARS, which is my VAT output. It'll be 55,785. Okay. Now, VAT on creditors' allowances will reduce our VAT input, meaning it will increase our VAT output. All right. It reduces what we have to claim to SARS. Okay. VAT on expenses paid. that is an increase in VAT input, it reduces the amount we owe to SARS. And we've got VAT on drawings. I did say that will increase VAT output. Drawings are treated as though we have sold goods to the customer, but at cost price in this case, obviously. And that will, when we sell goods, sales result in an increase in VAT output. Okay, and then we've got VAT on discount allowed. I did say it's an expense. It reduces your VAT output because it increases your VAT input. Okay, VAT input reduces your VAT output. Remember that. Then we've got VAT output on zero rated items. We had to take that one out, obviously. And when you take the 55,785 minus 5,070, add 5,070 minus 6,240 plus 5,400 minus 2,460 minus 4,680. It'll give you your total VAT, which is a positive amount. The fact that it's a positive amount, it means that we still have VAT output, and it's what we owe to SARS. Or if you have decided to show your VAT output in brackets, then what we have without brackets will be in brackets. What we have with brackets will be without brackets. Okay. Here I was working with VAT output, whether it increases VAT output or it reduces VAT output. I know someone might say, but VAT output, it's a liability. Why not show it in brackets? It's still fine. Then I was going to have negative 55,785, negative minus 5,070, and then plus 6,240 minus 5,400 plus 2,460 plus 4,680. We're going to put it in brackets, but you have to write that this is a VAT output. Okay, so here it's just VAT output. It's a liability. We need to pay it over to SARS. It will be recorded in trade and other payables as SARS in brackets. You will write the VAT. I hope that helped, right? Thank you for watching. Thank you. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, please post your questions under the comment section. Please continue watching the videos, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. In the next video, let me just show you what's coming up later on. I'm going to be continuing with this, but I'll be answering this question on stock valuation. All right, it's on stock valuation, and we will be answering these questions here. Again, thank you for watching.